A lot of people get scammed when it comes to buying phone of around 100,000 to 150,000 naira. So that is why in the next 4 minutes of this video, I'm going to be showing you the 5 best budget phones you can buy in this price range, and I'm also going to be showing you the pros and cons of these phones and help you decide which of them you should buy. The first phone of my list is the Redmi A7 Pro. One thing I like about the Redmi A7 Pro is because it has 6300 mAh of battery, probably one of the largest batteries in the grades of budget phones nowadays, right? And I also like one thing about this phone is that it has one of the fastest chipsets I've ever seen in a budget phones, 6nm chipset, because right now a lot of budget phones like the Smart 20, which I'll still talk about in this video, also has 12nm chipset, which is quite a great difference when you look at it. Also, it also has Android 16 upgrade, which is far better than some phones I've even recommend around the 150,000 price range. A sweet thing you also get, which sometimes you might not get it in some mid-range phones, is also the 120Hz refresh rate that you get on this phone. I mean, this is the highest speed of scrolling you could get on a budget phone. But a little thing you might want to take note when buying this phone is that you do not get fast wire charging. You get 15 watts of wire charging, and for me it is very slow charging for this kind of phone, right? Another thing is the 4GB RAM variant. I think the 4GB RAM variant is the only variant of the Redmi A7 Pro, which is kind of like a setback. Given that you want your phone to be at least usable, you should have like 8GB of RAM. Now, the next on my list is the Infinix Smart 20. This phone has a few things I like about it, like the IP64 drop and dust resistant that it has. It's very sweet, and the fact that it also has an Android 16 probably, and it also has 120Hz of refresh rate, which is considered very good. Using only this 120Hz to compare with some mid-range phones, this phone actually beats some of the mid-range phones that we have. There's nothing really much. The phone is good, but there's nothing really much going on, and that is why the little caveat that I have about this phone, same as the Redmi A7 Pro, this one too doesn't have an 8GB RAM variant. And just as I said with the Redmi A7 Pro, this one is running on a 12nm chipset. Now, another exciting phone in this price range is the Infinix Hot 60i. One thing that caught my attention on this phone is the chipset that is running on, and nothing really much about this phone, but I just feel that the phone will be heavier in the hand. But I don't have the phone, so I can't really confirm whether the phone is kind of heavy or not. But that's just my one little caveat on this phone. Now, the next phone on my list is the Itel City Android. Now, one thing that caught my attention right on this phone is the massive storage that it has. Like, looking at it, it has 256GB of storage, and looking at it, 256GB of storage is very massive compared to budget phones that we have nowadays, right? And when you look at it, it has a more higher resistance than some budget phones that we've talked about, which is the IP65 rating, and a little bit more advanced than some phone's charging capacity, with it having 18 watts of wire charging. Now, one of the few caveats I have about this phone is the chipset and the battery. The phone is running on a 12nm chipset, right? And the battery is just 5200 mAh of battery, but compared to standard, it's still a bit more, so we can't really say that's a caveat. Now, about the Poco C85, which is the last phone on my list right now, it's kind of special. The previous budget phones we'll be talking about, this phone's charging capacity is better than it. Also check the type of storage that this phone has. It has UFS 2.2 storage, and considering the space which this phone was released, it's kind of like the best you can have right now. And it still also includes 6000 mAh of battery. It also has 8GB of RAM. You still get 50 megapixel of camera. So if I'm to tell you which budget phone you should buy, I can't decide for you, but I can suggest the Poco C85 for you. If you want the ranking of all these phones I've mentioned from number 1 to 5, which is the best to the least best, this is it right on the screen. I hope you found this video very helpful. Also, if you want to buy phones of around 300,000 naira, you should click this video that's right on your screen. This is KDN and I'm signing out right here. Thanks for watching.